Alumni Association has these hat shows that you referred to, the spaghetti dinners, the barbecues and everything else. We raise the funds in addition to the things that we do for the alumni, but we also support all of the Dollars for Scholars so that every bit of money donated is used for the benefit of that. Oh, by the way, by next May, we will have awarded, and we'll be celebrating awarding $1 million in scholarships since they started in 1998. And we're going to invite all of you to help us celebrate at a big celebration at that time.
Good, Bill, so thank you. Dr. Helen Gilmore, followed by Lynn Anderson and Peggy Fisher.
I'm with him. In fact, we were married in a church that was just recently closed, 66 years ago. And tomorrow's my birthday. I was born at 917 South D Street, and it wasn't Dr. Brantley, it was Dr. Rose. But anyway, my father got tired of, we didn't have any pavement, we didn't have any potholes or anything to worry about. He got tired of pulling people who were stuck in the sand, pulling them out. He got loads and loads of sawdust, put the whole thing around, and we had the sawdust trail, which was my cousin's home. Anyway, I owe everything to Lakeworth High School. It has been a part of my life. My aunt, my brothers and sisters were graduated there. My 2 children graduated there. After I was married to Harold, about halfway through raising our kids, I knew I had to become a teacher. So I did. I got my degree from Palm Beach Junior College, from FAU, and then I got a master's degree from FAU and my doctorate from NOVA. I'm still teaching for Nova University. I teach online now, early childhood education, which I heard you talk about, the beginnings, the most important part of the work. So it's very important. But Lakeworth High really would like to have your help. And all of these people have worked very hard raising the money that we benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Sanders?
Hi, Lynn Anderson, 2204 Lake Osborne Drive. Everyone who preceded me has already said basically what I was going to tell you, so I might be repetitive here, but I wanted to first thank David Cantley, President of the Dollars for Scholarship Foundation Board, for pushing this to get it on the agenda. Next, I want to thank our Vice Mayor, Scott Maxwell. He brought this idea up twice now before the City Commission, and it got on the agenda tonight. So this is such an exciting and important thing to talk about. I want to thank many of the people that worked so hard also behind the scenes. We have Paul Bloxon, who's on the board, of course the Gilmores who have spoken tonight, and Dennis and Doris Dorsey, to name a few. The City of Lake Worth provides many programs for children. Even our resident Mary Lindsay started the Little Free Libraries. And this is to get kids excited about reading and learning. Now a scholarship for a needy Lake Worth student from a scholarship fund provided by the city is a great investment in our children. And as somebody mentioned earlier, one of the guys running for county judge, Bradley Harper, got a scholarship at Lake Worth High. He's a Lake Worth High graduate, and he's running now in this upcoming election. So we've got a lot of wonderful graduates like that from these scholarships. So every bit of this money goes towards the scholarships. There's not any overhead at all. And so the money that's earned over and above the $25,000, the way I understand it, is split, with one half going towards a scholarship and the other half is invested in the fund. So that fund is allowed to grow every year. So it would be a wonderful thing, and I hope you really consider it, and I think it would be a great investment for our children here. They really need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Peggy Fisher?
Peggy Fisher, 508 North A Street. I grew up in Palm Beach County. I've gone to school in Palm Beach County, not necessarily in Lake Worth, although I have two nieces who went through school in Lake Worth. I think it's a very admirable thing to do. However, I think there are many worthy other nonprofits within our city that could benefit our children too. And maybe it's time to think about the process of this so that everyone has the same opportunity. In reality, in listening to this would fund a scholarship of, if I'm listening correctly, for one person for $1,000 each year. And I think that's wonderful, but if every organization that serves our youth, our own recreation department, our library, where we're constantly taking funds out of a trust, which benefits multiple children at all ages throughout our community, I just think it would benefit from us looking at this as a process, if this is something that you all want to do on an annual basis, that it be set up that way originally. But I think it's a worthy cause, and just think it would be benefit from some more structure. Thank you.
Commissioner Marissa?
Yes, just maybe Mrs. Cantley can help me with a couple, or Mr. Cantley. Just a couple questions for clarity. I'm gonna vote for this tonight, but I pulled your information off the website, and I heard a couple different discrepancies tonight. I just want clarity for the record. So I heard 8%, and on your website it says 7%. Has it gone up?
You're referring to our
Your endowment?
interest earned on our investments, right?
Correct.
It varies from year to year, depending on the market, 6, 7, 8%, usually 7 or 8.
Okay, because it's in your website at 7. And then also it says at an endowment of 20,000 or more, which ours would be 25, only 1,400 a year would be, you're only putting back the $1,400 a year. Is that correct, or is it more than the 1,400 from a $25,000 or $20,000 donation?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
It says if your money is put into an endowment at $20,000, $1,400 a year would be invested back into the community. The rest would stay for, I'm just trying to get clarity for the record.
Where did you get that?
It's from the Lake Worth Dollars for Scholars on your website.
I'd like to see that.
Okay, you can take it with you afterwards if you'd like. My other question was, you had mentioned $67,000 for 2016. Is that $67,000, did that go to Lake Worth students? Or was it?
Lake Worth High Students.
Okay, because also on the first page of your website, it says, you do not have to attend the graduate or be a graduate from Lake Worth High School and to be part of Lake Worth Dollars for Scholars. But I just want to make sure that our investment stays in Lake Worth with the students of Lake Worth. That was my concern, because it kind of reads differently on your website.
Well, our scholarships go to any student who goes to, who attends Lake Worth, graduates from Lake Worth High School.
Okay,
Now, I wanted to talk about the endowments you referred to.
okay,
And the endowment works this way. If an individual donates $20,000 to us and they say, now, I don't want this to go into the regular scholarship pot. I want an endowment made in the name of my late husband. And the way that works is the $20,000 will go into the endowment in that person's name. And the interest earned on that at the end of the year may or may not be divided 50-50, with 50% going into the scholarship pot and the remaining 50% staying in the principal to help it grow. Now, we've only had to take 50% 2 times. This past year was one of them. I don't have to tell you how difficult it is to raise money in this community nowadays. It's tough. So this year, we took 50% of the interest earned on each one of those, and we put it in the scholarship pot. The remaining 50% stayed with the principal to help grow it.
Okay, and I totally understand that, and I'll give this to you. It just kind of reads differently, that if you have an endowment of $20,000, that only $1,400 a year will be actually going back. But that might need to be, it could be old, it might just need to be
Yeah, we need
updated.
to work on that, I don't know about that.
Okay, we have any more cards, city manager?
Can I speak to that? Paul Blocks and have blue card.
He has a card here.
Well, I just want to speak to the question that,
Yep.
Amarosa,
Please come forward, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Flossie. Get on that microphone. People at home can hear.
thank you for the opportunity. I think to try to clear it up, is you're looking at the $25,000 as supporting 25 students, and that is a possibility. What Dr. Kent was talking about was the endowment itself. In other words, this $25,000 would not be an endowment. It would be a donation towards supporting as many students as possible for the donation. Such as Kiwanis, we get $3,000 every year to support 3 students. And so we don't endow that, we just give that amount of money to support the students. So $25,000 is somewhat different than the endowment.
Well, but it almost read that if you give $20,000 or more, it becomes an endowment.
That is
And
true,
that-
it
that's-
can be, yes.
That's what I was questioning, and if it becomes an endowment, then only $1,400 of it every year
That's-
would go to a student.
That way it goes in perpetuity, it just continues to be.
Okay.
And so that the
every-
student would receive an endowment of
Every
Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so's foundation every
Yes.
year for
Okay, I
X
just
amount
wanna
of
make sure,
dollars.
clear for the record, that we know,
Okay.
because it was brought up originally annually. You know, in essence, this money is annually if it goes into an endowment, because every year there will be someone benefiting from it.
Correct. I have an endowment, they have an endowment for my brother Jimmy who passed away. And they have a golf tournament, they give away scholarships to soccer players, 'cause my brother was a big soccer player. And they have this tournament each year. We're good.
Can I have just one more to clarify? You asked a question about would it go to Lake Worth students? The Dollars for Scholars scholarships, the general academic and the vocational and technical are for Lake Worth High students only. It is only the Barry Bruno scholarship that is countywide. So those scholarships, your question is, your funds would go for Lake Worth High students only.
Great, and that's the only reason I was asking is on your first page, it said could be used for other. So I just wanted to make sure it was coming to the Lake Worth High School.
Okay. We've got a motion on the floor and a second. The only thing I would advise is, again, the attorney's recommendation that this is, or statement, that this is a one-time situation. I would just add my own recommendation that we come back and revisit a more formal process
Other organizations.
for other organizations in the future, but but isolating this as something that we're doing right now, and we'll come up with a plan and a process to entertain other situations and other opportunities. Commissioner Meyer?
Madam Mayor, is there an opportunity for us to provide this information to the public?
Yeah.
I would like for this information to have been in the backup. That really should have been the
Me too.
process here. So there needs to be a way, because I can read this here, but 35,000 people in Lake Worth could go online and look at this in the backup if it were there. So that really was the only comment that I was making about that. So if there is a way for us to provide this, I would feel good about that.
City Manager, would you put that on the website for us? Thank you, sir. Got a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.